Welcome to Falling Through Time, Part 2, wherein I give myself the hapless task of trying to choose a track per year that represents the Fall. By 1988, things were really beginning to look up for the Fall. John Leckie's production was really beginning to bite down, and there was a tightness and a poppy sheen to everything they were doing. This was coupled with an increasing media savvy, which was helped along by Beggars Banquet. It meant that Mark could start putting on plays at the Riverside like Hey Luciani, and also get involved with Michael Clarke and his ballet Curious Orange, from which this track is taken. Wrong place, right time.
Wrong place, right time. It's the thing I could do I wanted to. Right time for me alone. I walk streets of complete homes. Wrong place, but I'm bound to spirit what I am trying to see through. See you in wrong place, right time for this mouse in the swing. I keep on looking, but there's no bug ahead. I have to sink your thick see me, a new rain, don't you be forgotten. Right place, right time, and Britain is hand. That way, always, and all peasants will walk around you. A pleasant smile, big shine, very happy on the roof around you. You can whine on the roof around you. My clock says I bastard. He is the razor and Billy around you. Go insane and all out. I can't wait to see Star Trek's tough again. Eagle Ram, homage around you. I am orange and I'm introduced to the one who's number one and heaven. As the heavens so empress on.
Biographical. To biographical. Yeah, the four okay, read well. We're doing an LP soon which will consist of some songs with good stories and melodies and voices that should be Spotify. Well, like those other 73 revival LPs masquerading under various new wave trademarks, but will put a bit of intelligence back into the scene as usual. All the groups imitate us, but they always underrate us. I don't think I should shut up about bands presently making a mint out of Fall rip-offs, but they've got to live with themselves, and I wouldn't like to be them.
By 1989, the Beggars Banquet years were coming to an end. Mark and Brix had become the indie rock couple, and once again, hopes were high that the Fall would finally make a pop breakthrough. The videos of this period are extraordinary around Victoria, Ghost in My House, and especially for this next track, Hit the North. It really did seem like it was their time. This is a live version from Seminole Live.
city. Monaco to the city. Hit the north. Oh, hit the north. Hit the north. Hit the north. Those big landscapes, those useless outfits, were just savages. Hit them all! Hit them all! Hit them all! Hit them all! My cat says, hit them all! Monaco to the city, all the state agents alive. You're down night, an hysterical breath. And from the back of the third and sacred, inducement comes forth. Hit the north.
Instead of asking why they're falling, it people should ask what will do the bands in it.
By 1990, Brick Smith had left the band and been replaced by Martin Brahma. He was first taken on merely as a stopgap measure, but in the end began to write some songs with Mark, which finished up on the album Extricate. This is from the limited edition 12-inch of Popcorn double feature. It's called Zandra, and it's rather good. I talked to Steve Hanley, the bass-playing spine of the Fool, about how he joined the band and the early days. What was the first time you actually knew of the Fool's existence?
We used to see them all the time. We used to support loads of people in Manchester. Seeing them supporting Magazine the first time. Every time they were on, we used to go, and we shared a rehearsal room, which is where we actually met them.
So what, you were in another band that were playing with the Fool. What was the name of that band?
Sirens.
Sorry, say it again?
Sirens. Like me, Mark Riley and Craig, yeah.
I never realised that. Then when I first met you, you and Craig were roading.
Yeah.
Tell us how that happened.
Well, it's just, they were doing that tour with Here and Now, weren't they? Yeah.
Right, it was that tour.
All you frightening people on a big bus turned up that you lived on.
So how many gigs had the Fool done up until that sort of Here and Now tour?
Quite a few. They've been going about a year and a half.
You know, at that point, were you following them when they were sort of playing around Manchester?
They used to do like Liverpool a lot, London and Manchester.
What was the change between being a roadie to actually sort of playing? How did that happen?
Oh, Martin Brahma left, and Mark Riley switched from bass to guitar, and me and Craig joined, me playing bass and him playing guitar.
What was the first album that you played on then?
Dragnet. The first thing we ever did was Roach Rumble, and then we did Dragnet.
Your style of bass playing is sort of like fairly personal. Where did you learn your bass playing from?
Before I joined the Four, I'd only sort of picked it up a year before. It was just like that, it was self-taught and what I learned off other people.
Is there one bass player that when you were listening to him, you were sort of trying to at least, you know that thing when you're sort of imitating, just trying to get a sound, you don't get it, but you're trying to?
No, I mean, the bass players I like. I was a bass player.
But it's kind of interesting because you sort of took over from Mark Riley, who played totally different, like real melodious, poppy sort of bass lines, I was used to think, and then you came in and you definitely weren't doing that.
Yeah, I just took over from him. As we wrote new songs, I started playing the way I play them.
That is true, actually. If you think about it, sort of going through things like Dragnet, there is a sort of thing where it is almost similar to what Mark would do, some of the stuff, and then it sort of like changes as the albums go on. Is there an album that you think that, you know, oh yeah, I've got this now?
Well, I think the album, all that came together, there's probably X-Induction Hour.
So, into the 90s, and Manchester was raving at its height. In typical fashion, Mark decided to move to Edinburgh. Marcia Schofield and Martin Brahma both left, leaving the band's sound much more stripped down, indicating that Mark was much more in control of the finished sound of the record. This is one of Mark's romantic tunes. It's called Edinburgh Man.
As I sit and stare at all of England's songs, I tell you something, I wish I was in Edinburgh. Just Don't give a toss about private wealth, and history just repeats itself. Keep me away from the festival, and just give me a 1/4 Jill. They say project yourself, but I'm an edible man myself. It's winter time, and I still see the cobblestones clacking over your streets at dawn. I was really poor since I left Edinburgh. Okay, just by myself, 'cause our miserable kings won't protect us from ourselves. How I wish I was in Edinburgh. How I wish I was in Edinburgh. I was always in good health. I'm an Edinburgh man myself, and will always give you help. I'm an Edinburgh man myself. I'm an Edinburgh man myself.
By now, the Fool had survived a couple of years on Fontana and were becoming truly the legends they'd always thought they were. Silence of the Lambs used Hit Priest in the main sequence. Dave Bush joined on keyboards and brought a far more techno-y edge which fought against the hard rocking of the Fool. This is a track from Volume 10. It's called Arid Al's Dream.
From the interstellar combination that colors with brown and cream, and he gets pre-psychognition everywhere he goes. It screams psychog from doorways and upper shut of windows. Very baby. It had a hall with 3 mans. It was looking at glasses through him. It was floating on the floatarium of its love, baby. It was sheltering him. It was picturing him. It was lecturing him. It was lying to him. It was lecturing him. It was lecturing him. It was sheltering him. It was lecturing him. Sweat envelops inside your It was sheltering him. It was lecturing him. It was lecturing him. It was sheltering him. It was singing to him. It was lecturing him. It was lecturing him. It was lecturing him. From a lecture on its love, baby. Psycho dream.
We were talking to Patti Smith and the studios all the time, I remember, and stuff like that, all that stuff. And I was particularly the camp, I was sort of into June music a lot.
This technoing up of the Fall split a lot of Fall fans into camps. I personally thought it was brilliant. They brought in Rex Sargent as a record producer and sound man, and he was a like-minded spirit to Dave Bush, and I think they linked to make truly original music. This is a track that Rex Sargent produced. It's called Cab Driver.
Everything you see, you want. Comes close. Middle class revolves. Middle class revolves. Put it down, put it down. Oppression through metal floor. Bills are landing. Bones falls. Middle class revolves. Middle class revolves.
James Sargent. What were you doing?
It's Seminole Live. I was putting all the studio stuff together and then editing all the live stuff.
So you started off in the studio with him, you weren't doing live stuff with him at this point?
No.
So what year is Seminole Live, any ideas?
About 89, I think.
Right. So that's still the back of the Beggars contract, is it?
Yeah, it's on Beggars, last one on Beggars.
Yeah. What happened then? How did you you stayed in contact after the recording?
Yeah, they just, because like they'd always come to Sweet 16, you know, doing various little things here and there. Mark popping to chop up one cassette and put it onto some master for something or other.
And that's the one that old Hookie used to own, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was originally Cargo.
Which is like the studio from the 70s where Gang of Four, Joy Division and the such like bands used to record.
So what was the first proper album that you produced?
Infotainment Scan.
And that uses a lot of electronics, yeah?
Yeah, that was when Dave Bush was Mr. Techno.
Now there's always been a lot of argument amongst Fall fans about, you know, the techno side of the band and how there's always been diehards who prefer the rockabilly. But in my eyes, I thought that the you and Dave Bush being in the same place at the same time meant that the techno side of the band really expanded, and I love that. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, yeah. Just complements it.
I think it was a great shame when Dave left in a lot of respects. Now live, you have, you know, you do that classic thing where you've had to perform.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you perform with the Fall?
Mumble a lot.
And in what song? What are your instructions?
I used to do Chiselers with him, to do a duet with him in the middle bit and try to remember the words.
I've definitely been told when I'm doing the sound, you know, take the bloody reverb off the PA, the vocals aren't loud enough. What's your experience of that sort of stuff?
Oh, plenty of that. Doesn't like any effects at all, finds it distracting. So just keep it clean and in your face. But no, he's usually been pretty good. I've got free range to do what I want and do get away with putting some effects on sometimes and get a bit excited. So.
I mean, again, you see, that's the thing. People see it as such a straitjacket and they don't realise, you know, I mean, I could really tell the difference when you got involved with the band. When you came in, you know, it did get tighter and more techno-y, you know.
I just got to wind everybody up and getting the vibe going.
Just give me a list of other people you've worked with.
Asian Dub Foundation, Revenge, Teenage Fan Club, Northside, Lion Rock, to name a few.
In that sort of, all those people, where do you see the Fall? Do you see them as an important band in that section?
Yeah, on a different planet.
That's what I feel. I do feel that they are a special band.
Well, they've kept it going for 20 odd years, doing it the way they want to do it.
There's no other band really that have kept that artistic power for 20 years. Yeah. I mean, what I like about you in your relationship to the Fall is a bit like how I feel, like you want to help them.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, you know, sometimes you don't get paid, sometimes it's really horrible, but you went out and did this latest American tour, didn't you?
You go out and work with the Fall, you mix the gig and then you come back and work with somebody else and you watch the gig and you're waiting for something to happen all night. And it's, you know, it's not the same. Everything's, you know, as it's supposed to be planned out. And with the Fall, it's just not like that. It's just, you know, every gig's an experience.
Is Mark doing that deliberately, or is he just...
No.
Is it just the way he is?
It's just the way he is. But doesn't try to be anything else. That's why it works for him, because he's just being himself. He's not trying to steer it in any particular way. I think he's just doing what comes naturally to him, whether it be right or wrong.
That's right, and sometimes it is wrong, you know.
But I don't think Mark Smith is the Fall. I think the Fall is a band. A lot of people have this misconception that Mark's the Fall. He does sort of, you know, calls a lot of the shots and that, but Mark without the Fall isn't the same. There's a bond in there. That's why there's, you know, there's been 20 odd people in and out of the band over the years, but people come back to work with him because it is something special. It's not your run-of-the-mill boring band, you know, everyone's, you know, wearing makeup and, you know, sucking your cheeks in.
To find an origination, locate obstacles. Surmounts all obstacles. Hans is guilty. He says, look, I left the shotgun by accident. I'm a black belt. His face is full of sex cruelty, guilt, blue-eyed, caring, sharing, clown, embarrass them into extinction. Muscular's trip into mysticism. Or locate the base and climb. Surmount all obstacles. You can surmount all obstacles. You can surmount. Surmount the British affection for the base swindler. What's allowed? It must have taken Conair and hours that. What an interesting article. You can surmount all obstacles. You can surmount on the borders of your imagination. You can surmount all obstacles. Richard on Dash Judy and the complex of your culture, musicals, all obstacles.
Earlier, I was talking to Brix about how an American friend reintroduced her to The Fool.
He went out and he bought me every record he could find. And we sat down and we listened to it, and he made me realize how great it was. And when I heard it again after a few years of not hearing it, I realized what a partnership Mark and I had been, and how special and what amazing art we had done. And I was crying, I was really moved. So after not having spoken to Mark for years, I picked up the phone and I called him. I said, look, I was just listening to the old stuff and I'm just so proud of it, and I think you're brilliant, and if you ever want to write songs again, I'd be really happy to. And he said, right, and put down the phone. And I went off to a party, and then I got a phone call saying, I've had to think about it, and we're doing a gig in Scotland, why don't you come and do it, and I'll give you anything you want to come back. And around that time, I was like thinking about joining Hole, and I thought, well, why would I join Hole if I could go back in the fall, which is the real deal, which is the thing that begat all others. And if I was in Hole, I'd just be Courtney's bass player, she's the star, there's no way I'd get a look in. But if I went back in the fall, I could take my place as Mr. Spock to his Captain Kirk, and it would just be really fun to go back, so I went back.
That's so weird though, to say there's a gig going on in Scotland, get on a plane and fly from LA. That was just the most bizarrest thing when I had that. And so classically Mark. So then you got back, what album did that lead to?
A Cerebral Caustic.
Cerebral Caustic. And how was that? Did you find was it different?
It was really, really, really good to be back. And also I liked it because I wasn't married to Mark anymore, and I was there on my own terms, and he had asked me to come back, so that felt really good, and I was just happy to see them all. And things had changed a bit. Dave Bush was in the band, and I loved him.
But I think Dave Bush, in a way, doesn't get the respect that he deserves.
No, he was great. And he was great to be on tour with because he had a great attitude. He was not miserable and crabby, which I'm sorry to say, but the Fall is miserable and crabby on the whole. And so, I really liked him, and I thought he was putting some really interesting new twists into everything, which it needed to carry on. You've got to inject new stuff all the time to vibe off. And I thought he was doing that, and it was getting much dancier, and it was fun. I mean, stuff like Free Range was just really great and fun to play.
94, and all around you are horrible old men with beer bellies and bad haircuts reforming their punk bands as the Fall march on. Mark finally makes it onto Top of the Pops, singing with the Inspiral Carpets. Truly, they could surmount all obstacles. And suddenly, there it was gone. The techno keyboards, gone. Dave Bush, gone. Rex Sargent, away. Brick Smith returns incredibly, and suddenly we're in a very stripped down situation with a 1M Bennett and Mark Smith taking care of the production chores. It was an astonishing mix of pop and brutal. Here's a song from Cerebral Caustic called The Aphid.
Who can ever forget this one? 6 times Parkham, 6-4. Form bar of 6. Form a box lamb. The A-field. The A-field, bend down. Scratch around the carpet for insects. Get hook clamp. Stand up. Gel frame. Put insects in a jar. The A-field. Walk back 2, 3, and 4. Stop for a rest, go back to scratch, the A-field. Hook clamp. Go back down. Scratch around the floor. Take hook clamp and put in jar. The A-field. Cover up with gel frame. Take 2 times 4001 UV gun back, go back to the floor, scratch around, 5-6 supplied, the A-field, bend right back, form a box line, sidecar, the A-field. 20 times steps back. Fresno. Get hook clamp. Turn to barn door. Retriever. Gel frame.
Insects in the jar, then check the clamp on the jar and take 6 steps back. Ensure the hook clamp is on the jar, and that's the aphid.
A lot of the early new records were good, like Pistols. Even the Clash were very good. These are all these like Manchester groups coming out. I mean, the Buzzcocks, no matter what anybody says, I mean, they were good with Devoto, but I mean, the first couple of gigs were fucking terrible. They were like fucking, like trying to be T-Rex or somebody. You get Slaughter the Dogs and all these people with nosebleeds, you know, and all these like fucking dicks who've been playing like Smoke on the Water for years, you know. So a bit of money there, you know. So that sort of, it's a good thing. It was good actually, because it sort of kicked me into, started thinking about, you know, that's horrible, you know. We could do that, you know, go and play.
This is Powder Keg. Here's another chunk of wisdom from the great Steve Hanley.
What was the first gig you actually played?
Aberdeen Music Hall, which was a total disaster. The PA broke down and we ended up doing instrumentals.
It is so true though, the amount of disasters that follow the full round are kind of like quite exceptional ratio of disasters to non-disasters.
Yeah, I suppose we've had our moments, haven't we?
Now, a lot of people sort of like talk about The Fall as being Mark Smith's band, but I think you and I know that that's untrue, and a lot of the people I've been speaking to have been sort of saying how much you've provided a thread to it, and also Carl coming back every now and again. How do you see the changes through the years?
The thing is that Mark doesn't write music. Musicians of the band have always contributed to the songwriting.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't realise.
People who are interested do, you know. The fans or whatever. It doesn't matter though, really.
I've chosen to represent this year a track remixed by Rex Sargent and as yet unreleased. It's called One Day.
Welcome on to the real world. Poison and envy, reference, and your manual of deception. Split it. Flesh-eating ball. Yourself, what you? You saw it all. Welcome on to the real world. You hate this, you want that, hates that, wants this. You hate this, you want that, hates that, wants this. One day, you wait off, and find you lost, the good man. And one day, you turn around and see you lost, the good man. You believe everything you hear. Multicolored sheets, a gossip of white sweet. Rainmaker changes us. Now come on to the real world. Clock times 2. Manual for deceit. Don't call me darling. It's a joke. Hates this, hates that, wants that, wants this, wants that, hates this, hates that, wants this. In inverted comma, straight. Poison and envy, reference. Split it. You believe everything you hear. I believe I saw something in you. Something that cannot be related. You're surrounded by snakes. When I first met you, baby, you didn't go anywhere but the skill of drama. Your perception is short. Welcome on to the real world. It's a joke. And one day you wake up and find you lost the good man. And one day you turn around and see you lost the good man. And one day you find out you lost the good man. And one day you wake up and find you lost the good man. One day you spark up and find you lost the good man.
Hooray! So here we are in 1998, and Carl still doesn't own a drum kit. He's still playing with the Fool. He still has to borrow a drum kit off the support band. Mark is the great old man of rock, full of awards from the NME, still scowling. There's been some trouble in New York. The fans are split over this new direction of the Fool. Hey, it sounds like it's always been like this, really. This is the single version of Masquerade.
And what is that brand? What trash is this? The town is ultra. The 9-year-olds walk around and that rich your house. The town
early Saturday afternoon. Found me to flee under the green web crosswire mesh fence and enter into the masquerade.
The web themselves, look to you, greyhounds, out looking porter, about their race. My space of violence ran out yesterday. The masquerade. The masquerade. The masquerade.
I failed completely to do what I wanted to do. I now understand what hell it must be compiling full albums and why so much of them have got such odd track listings on them. I've missed out all the tracks I wanted to play and played all these odd things, but maybe they're brilliant. Well, they are brilliant. They're from the Fall. All I can say at the end of the day is I'm looking forward to the next album. I hope you are too.